Welcome back, fellow travelers. I want to talk to you today about a question that I got on my travel video that was related to how to get an upgrade or how to get a free upgrade. By far my most popular video, where I kind of popped the bubble on a few misconceptions, and somebody had actually said, well, why don't we just bribe the gate agent or bribe the check-in agent? And I'm here to tell you about my story where that actually happened, but it wasn't bribing. It was somebody who was running a scam. Somebody that I worked with was running a scam and eventually got caught. And what happened to the people that had paid for an upgrade, but not the legit way. So yeah, you could bribe an agent. You could bribe somebody, whether it was at the check-in counter. In my scenario, it was at the check-in counter, or you could try the gate agent. Not really going to work long term. Maybe you get away with it if somebody isn't paying attention, but why risk, bribing one of those agents? Your best bet, if you were to bribe anybody, would be a flight attendant. Honestly, it would be the in charge or something like that could say, okay, I'm taking this person out, and they're going to sit here. They're the ones checking the manifest to see if everyone's where they need to be on takeoff. But we're not going to get into like a deep dive of bribing a flight attendant. I don't suggest you actually bribe anybody, but here is what happened. So the person in question used to work at the check-in counter, and obviously was in the economy section. Really wouldn't work if she was always doing check-in for business. She was offering people, saying, oh, if you want to upgrade, we have a special promotion where it's like $300. However, you have to pay cash. So at the check-in counter, people were like, oh, that's an amazing deal. Why not just go with that? Long story short, that's exactly what she did. She got some people to pay her $300, unbeknownst to them that, they were getting the upgrade. They were flying in business or in first, but they were not obtaining it the legitimate way. So what happened eventually is that a gate agent, doing her due diligence, preparing for her flight, looked at the seat chart, noticed that there were 2 extra people in business class already, and as somebody who is in charge of making sure the flight is boarded, they needed to be sure that they would have enough meals on the aircraft, if they had enough meals to be able to upgrade people who had requested upgrades. So the frequent flyers who had put in their request legally, the people who were paying for an upgrade. So she wanted to see what these 2 people were up to, why they were able to get the upgrade, what they did, were they new people on the flight. So she dug in, she looked at the history of the file, she saw that they were upgraded to business class. No notes or record as to why, because sometimes if, let's say, a manager were to upgrade somebody, do irregular operations the day before, see reference number this, that people can look into. This situation, there was none of that. So what happened is that the agent in question, the one who was working the flight, put these people back in economy where they belong. To her, nothing else has changed. She's just going to do her flight. She gets to the gate. She starts doing her work, and then she calls 2 passengers saying that there has been an error. Here are your seats back. We apologize for any inconvenience, or even in that case, maybe they didn't even know. But in this case, these 2 people knew that they had business class seats. So they said, well, why are we being downgraded? We paid for our business class flight. Well, turns out this whole big thing of, no, you didn't. And the guy's like, yes, we did. Threatening to pursue legal action, which from his point of view, yeah, I would have done that if I paid an airline, $300 per person to be in business class, and they just revoke it when I get to the gate and I paid cash. Yeah, that seems kind of fishy. So this long drawn out process where we actually found out, well, not we, I wasn't involved in it. I heard about it afterwards. This person had been doing it for months, where she was telling people they can get their business class seat. They get their business class seat and they take off. It seemed like a win-win for everybody except for the actual airline or the people that were put in these seats, and other, frequent flyers weren't able to get those business class seats. So in this situation, the employee was caught, was fired, obviously. And in this case, the people who got to fly because of her shady behavior, they made off well. But the people who were caught, and saying that they were caught isn't like the right term. Like, they took advantage of an opportunity they didn't know was not legit. They were sent back to business class. They were refunded the money. They were given the money back and explained the situation. Nothing more came out of that. But it goes to show that these people, if you were to bribe an agent, you get to the gate, somebody doing their job would know, and then you get bumped back down. Now that means you had the audacity to ask somebody to do something illegal and potentially getting fired, and then they followed through with it, and are now getting fired because they got caught. And in this day and age, you do not need to do something like this. Here is the alternative. Here is the alternative. You are able to bid on upgrades. So if you're willing to pay somebody $300 per person to get into business class or first class, a lot of airlines have a bidding system now. If you're in economy, you can bid to get an upgrade. You bid whatever amount you want, and if you are selected, great, you're in business class. So if you're willing to pay $300, $400, $500, go ahead and put that towards the bid. Best case scenario, you get to business class legitimately. You get, to enjoy the amenities for whatever you feel comfortable paying. If you don't get it, you put down the $300, you don't get the seat in business class, you retain your $300. Maybe next time you decide, I'll wait to do this long trip when I have enough points or miles to fly or use my frequent flyer status. That might be an opportunity for you there, but definitely if you are looking at bribing somebody, not the best way of going about it. I personally would never be comfortable approaching somebody asking them to do something of that nature. That's just me though. I don't know. I would feel like, I don't know, like somebody would come down hard on me. And if you're a frequent flyer and you're trying this, you could actually get your status and miles revoked completely for trying to defraud the company, because that's essentially what it is. You're trying to steal and defraud another product, a higher tier. So it's as if you as an example, I'll boil it down. You went to McDonald's, you ordered a hamburger, and you asked the guy, hey, I ordered a hamburger, but give me the Big Mac instead. That's what it is when you're flying in economy and you want to fly in business. Yeah, I went there and I used hamburgers as an analogy, but that is the closest analogies I can give. I would never go anywhere and ask, I'll pay this, but give me this. I don't think it's worth the risk for you, especially if you have miles and you have status on that airline. Find a different way, through bidding, save up for that trip, do something. Do not try to bribe. It won't work out in your favor in the long term. And if it does in the short term, there could be consequences. Maybe not for you, but for that person doing it, that person that might be strapped for cash and sees an extra $500, thinking that they can get away with it. You'd be surprised at how little airline employees make. Like, a lot of people think that, because they're able to travel cheap, that they somehow recoup that cost. In today's climate, it's really hard for airline employees that aren't pilots or executives, upper management, to make money. So somebody strapped for cash, I can see them maybe bending their morals or thinking that they can game the system. And the argument could be made, well, if you don't ask, somebody else will. At the end of the day, I don't want to be responsible for somebody losing their job. That's kind of what it comes down to. Anyways, that's the situation that I saw when I was working for an airline. It was surreal. I couldn't believe that this person actually pulled it off. Who knows how much money she made off with. And that's my suggestion on what to do to try to get your upgrade. So that's kind of a build up onto my last video where I kind of gave you guys a lowdown on what happens with free upgrades and how to kind of get them. There's no magic bullet to get an upgrade except for paying for that upgrade and paying the appropriate amount, or just buying a business class or first class seat. Those are your surefire ways. If you absolutely need to fly business class, first class, you got to pony up the cash. You got to pony up the cash in a legitimate way. It's having trouble focusing. Thanks for watching. If you like my content, if you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe. With YouTube's new algorithm change, it's going to be really hard for small creators like me to get seen, to push out there. So please, first time I'm actually asking you to subscribe if you want to. It's greatly appreciated. Until next time, safe travels.